8 is enough won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to the Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about
Rocky
Rocky
IV.
Rocky versus Russia.
Take yourself back to 1985. March 6th, 18-year-old Mike Tyson makes his professional boxing debut in Albany, New York. He defeated Hector Mercedes via first-round TKO. He actually fought 15 times in his first year as a professional.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal what I was
15 times seems like a lot.
Oh, he was amazing. My buddy, Laser Tag Larry, is such a horrible nickname for him. If you listen, I apologize. But his dad bought one of those ginormous satellite dishes.
Oh, yeah.
Big uns.
Yeah.
And so he had like 4 billion channels from all over the world.
Nice.
But that's when we got into boxing, and I probably watched all 15 of those bouts. And there was one where I believe his arm was broken, or like his shoulder was...
It was messed up, but he still won.
And he
anyway.
still just beat the hell out of the guy with one arm. It was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen.
Yeah, the first time one of those big satellite dishes was the WrestleMania. I think it was like WrestleMania 3 or something. My friend Dan, his dad had one, and it was the same thing. It was just like, this is so weird. It's so weird.
His dad would get so mad because we would get it out of delineation. I don't know, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah. Wouldn't be calibrated properly, and he's like,
what's on in Russia?
April 19th, the Soviet Union performs a nuclear weapon test in eastern Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
Well, this is the Cold War. It happens. November 19th, in Geneva, U.S. President Ronald Reagan and Soviet Union leader Mikhail Gorbachev meet for the first time.
Yeah, it was cute. Cute little meet cute. They they both were reaching for the sugar at the same time. And their knuckles touched, and they looked at each other's eyes. And then Reagan was like, well, I think you have some jelly on your head. And he's like, that's the birthmark. And he was like, oh, and then gloss-nosed.
And then just 8 days later, Rocky IV is released on November 27th in the U.S., just in time for an all-American Thanksgiving.
Yeah, he solved the Cold War through punches.
He did. He just wanted people to come together,
If you guys can come, these guys can come together.
Yeah.
That's coming, baby.
So obviously Rocky IV would not be possible if it wasn't for the first 3 Rocky movies. So just a quick recap of the first 3 Rocky films.
Yeah, you have to learn your histories.
Yes. Rocky was released in 1976. It made $225 million off a $1 million budget.
Good Lord.
It was a lot. It was one of the most successful, indie movies, I guess, at the time, like privately funded kind of movies. It made a lot of money.
225,000% profit.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's a lot. It was nominated for 10 Academy Awards, winning 3, including Best Film Editing for Richard Halsey and Scott Conrad, Best Director for John G. Avildsen, who went on to direct the first 3 Karate Kid movies.
Oh, yeah?
And eventually directed Rocky V. And Best Picture for Robert Chartoff and Irwin Winkler, the producers of Rocky.
Nice. So, yeah, he didn't direct the first one.
He did not. They didn't allow him to. He wanted to, but they didn't allow him to.
Good. That's why he got so many awards.
But he did take a huge pay cut because he wanted to star in it. That's where he drew the line.
Yeah, you're going to be in it. Didn't want to do pornos for the rest of my life.
Rocky II was released in 1979 and made just over $200 million off a $7 million budget.
It was not as good. People want to see me win. They want to see me beat him. They didn't like it when I lost the first one. They didn't like it.
The film did win Best Picture at the American Movie Awards and won the People's Choice Award for Favorite Motion Picture. It was not nominated for any Academy Awards.
It wasn't as good. It was just basically like...
It was a rehash of the first movie.
It was really just like giving people what they wanted, which was watching Rocky win.
And it was fine. I mean, it was fine.
Racists.
Rocky III was released in 1982. It made $270 million off of a $17 million budget.
Nice.
It was nominated for Best Original Song for Eye of the Tiger by Survivor at the Academy Awards.
Oh, baby. I used to run to this soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
It was an eye of the tiger in the cream of the crop.
Thrill of the fight. It's the thrill of the fight. It's the eye of the tiger. It's the thrill of the fight.
Yeah, it's also the cream of the crop, baby.
Okay, all right.
There's lots of lyrics.
There are? Okay. Tom Milne of the Monthly Film Bulletin wrote about Rocky III.
Starting off a replay of our hero's second miraculous return from the dead to win a championship back at the end of Rocky II, itself a virtual repeat from the original Rocky, Rocky III soon demonstrates it has nothing to offer but more of the same. There are fleeting moments thanks chiefly to a personal performance by Carl Weathers, but the time has surely come for Rocky Balboa to take the final count.
And that brings us to Rocky IV.
Yeah, the final count.
It made $270 million. Of course, there was going to be a sequel. It's going to happen. The movies kept making money.
Yes, man. And then once they turned into he became a cartoon.
Yes.
Like by the time he got to Rambo 3 and Rocky 3,
yeah.
As soon as he hit the trilogy, Cartoon City, man. Rocky 3 was super fun, but it also had him fighting Hulk Hogan. Clubber Lang.
It was a wrestling match, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a boxing / wrestling. It was just like, he was a famous kid who was at.
Yeah. I mean, it's,
Clubber Lang took him down a notch.
He did.
I'm gonna get you. But I always get those two mixed up because I always think of the Carl Weathers thing is
Rocky
in 3, but
it's
like
4.
3 and 4 I get mixed up.
4. The only reason 4 is because it came out right around the time when I started forming memories, and so it was it was the first Rocky movie I actually saw.
30s.
31. Yeah. So development for a 4th Rocky film began soon after the box office success of Rocky III. In June 1982, after viewing the movie Rocky III, In June 1982, after viewing the movie Rocky III, Timothy Burton Anderson wrote a 31-page treatment for Rocky IV.
Yeah, I gotta write a 31-page treatment for Rocky IV. Inspired.
This was unsolicited. He just wrote it.
Cocaine.
His idea involved Rocky fighting an East German boxer. Rocky would train all over Europe. The CIA and KGB would get involved for some reason.
Of course.
It would culminate with Rocky fighting the East German boxer just outside of the Berlin Wall in East Berlin. Of course, Rocky would win, and the East Germans would all cheer for Rocky. That was his treatment, his 31-page treatment.
Well, there's a lot going on with the CIA and the KGB.
In October of 1982, Anderson met with Art Linkletter, a member of MGM's board of directors, at his Bel Air home. He also met with Freddie Fields, then president of MGM UA, at his Culver City office, and also had meetings during the summer of 1983 with then board chairman Frank Yablans and MGA UA vice president Peter Bart. So he met with people.
Sure.
He had meetings. He got further than most people did.
But you know what meetings are?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that treatment. What else you got?
Yeah. I saw a great quote that everywhere else is always no, 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 no until yes, but Hollywood is yes, yes, yes until no.
Yeah.
And it, and this is a perfect example of that. During the meetings, they discussed Anderson's script for Rocky IV. Anderson claimed that MGM told him that if they used his script, he would be paid a large sum of money.
Yeah, of course they did.
Yeah. Anderson also met with Stallone in May of 1983 at Stallone's Paramount Pictures office.
How you doing, Anderson? Come on into my office.
It was a meeting arranged and attended by then Deputy White House Chief of Staff Michael Deaver.
Yeah, you know Michael Deaver? Yeah, he works in the White House. He's a pretty big muckety-muck.
Stallone ended up writing his own screenplay for Rocky IV, as he obviously would, because he wrote the first 3 Rocky movies. Why would he not?
Hey, look. The reason why I got the White House here is I just want to be above board when, I read my screenplay. I don't want anybody thinking I stole anything from your German pieces.
Anderson ended up suing Stallone anyway for copyright infringement, claiming they stole his idea for Rocky IV.
What? You shot me in the back!
Unfortunately for Anderson, while Stallone was promoting Rocky III in May of 1982, he told multiple journalists and TV personalities about his idea for a 4th movie, which involved Rocky fighting a Soviet powerhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why Anderson thought that he would get away with this, or that he would somehow get money for this.
Well, he thought, look, even though they had the same idea, he thought that they stole part of his stuff.
Yeah.
As somebody who went around for a lot of these stupid meetings at one time, the first thing that they say is, "We love it." We have something very similar, though, unfortunately, in development.
Right.
So it's like, the same thing. It's like the two meteor movies to this movie.
Yeah,
it's like there are people that have the same idea at the same time. There's only a certain amount of things, that people can think up, especially a certain amount of things with Rocky. And, who knows? But I get it, but it was ill-fated.
Well, it wasn't settled until 1989, but it was determined that while some scenes were similar from Anderson's treatment, like training in a foreign country and the Soviet crowd getting on Rocky's side, an infringing work was not entitled to copyright protection. So essentially, he tried to play with characters he didn't know, and the court was like, come on.
Exactly. It's like if I wrote a Darth Vader movie where it's like Weekend at Bernie's, and Darth Vader and Darth Maul have to prop up Palpatine at some crazy, evil Sith meeting.
And over the Senate.
Yeah. I don't have the rights to those characters.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like you can do whatever you want, but the people that own the rights get to determine what happens.
Yeah, it's just a bad idea from this guy, and from the very beginning, it's like, great, you had an idea. They were like, hey, we're going to entertain this. No, we're going to go with something else.
Instead of using his foot in the door to further something else, he held on to this like a bone. I'm telling you, cocaine.
All he had to do was say, look, man, you like my treatment. Give me anything else. I'll write anything. Like, give me whatever.
But it's also, the business isn't geared toward the little guy either. So
No, it's totally not. And this was a huge deal back in the day. I mean, it was covered by all the Hollywood tabloids and stuff. Like, it was a huge deal. Because
anything to take somebody down a peg.
They were trying to make Stallone look bad. Anderson would actually later go on to write a novel called The Reign of the Stavka in 1995. It places a new spin on the question of why the Soviet Union capitulated with scarcely a shot being fired.
Yeah, he really likes... He's a Soviophile.
The novel culminates in a bizarre military confrontation in a desolate region of the American Southwest where the most awesome secret of the Soviet past is revealed. Yeah, he totally was. And part of it was I discovered this stuff before I read the in-depth of it. I was like, oh, so he really just has a knack for this whole Soviet thing. And,
sure. Or likes it.
I mean, my guess is maybe the Reign of the Stavka was part of his treatment, like, the whole KGB, CIA thing and whatever. Anyway, it's available for purchase if you want to buy it on Amazon.
Go for it.
So after Stallone wrote his script, they moved on to the casting. Of course, he cast himself again as Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, he still had to audition, though. I read for it.
He did. He had to audition.
Boy.
Yeah. Is it the scene with him and his son in bed?
Yeah. I was originally going to play the robot.
He decided to change it up.
Yeah.
When he wrote
it. Different, but my agent was like, no, you got to play Rocky.
He was a household name by this point, obviously, because of the Rocky franchise.
The robot?
No, Rocky.
Oh, yeah.
Stallone. He'd received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1984. By this point, he was actually directing as much as he was writing and starring in movies. This would be his last directorial effort until 2006 with Rocky Balboa, the sixth film in the franchise.
Oh, wow.
Like I said before, Rocky V was directed by John G. Evanson. So he didn't direct for like 20 plus years. Like, it was a long time.
It was a very taxing movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes.
I was more into collecting art and tried to prove to people that I wasn't a dummy.
Talia Shire is Adrian, coming back again.
Adrian!
Yeah. She's actually part of the large Coppola clan. Her brother is Francis Ford Coppola.
Yep. Her nephew is
Nick Cage.
Nick Cage, and her son is Jason Schwartzman.
From her second marriage. Yeah, he's. I love Jason Schwartzman. I think.
Yeah,
he's
me too.
fantastic.
Bored to Death is such a great and underrated show.
Such a great underrated show. Yeah. Talia Shire was actually nominated for Best Supporting Actress by the Academy for The Godfather Part 2 in 1974. She was nominated for Best Actress by the Academy for playing Adrian in Rocky in 1976.
Well, she's so different. I mean, the real Adrian. Well, the first Rocky is a really great rags to riches.
Oh, yeah.
Working class mook.
Yeah.
Dum making it big, and she's
Yeah.
like this weirdo, totally weird shut-in kind of lady. There's the gloves. And he's like, she doesn't know what to do with this mook. It's such a cool love story because they're both so incapable of, of being with. It's like the Jaws movies. As you subsequently watch these movies, it makes you sadder and sadder for the masterpiece that was the originals.
Yeah. I mean,
These are fun, stupid movies,
Yes.
but it's like, I mean, this is a bit extreme, but it's like, if like To Kill a Mockingbird had like 4 sequels, and by like the third one, it was like, My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
It was a sequel to.
They tried in Rocky IV. They tried to give Adrian stuff. They tried to give her a storyline and make her more integrated into the movie.
They just made her the shrew. It was so stupid. It was just like, Rocky, I don't want you to do it. And she was right. She was right that he shouldn't do it because his best friend got killed. And I get it. He didn't need to do it. It was just some stupid, like, pride. Fight is going to fight. It's just like, you're a moron, Punchy. Ugh. And it's just like, and then, like, it didn't matter anyway. Because 4 minutes later, it's like, oh, look who still showed up on the doorstep in Russia.
I know.
Hi, Rocky. Hey, what you doing here? Hey.
Oh, you come to support me anyway. Okay.
All right, okay. So, I think a bunch of characters negated.
Yeah. Yeah.
The robot had more lines and a more interesting through line.
Oh, well, she was in love with Paulie.
She loves me.
Burt Young came back as Paulie.
I love Burt Young.
He's fantastic. He was actually nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his work in the first film.
He is the best curmudgeon. He's just the best, like...
Oh, yeah.
What are you going to do it? He's just so off-putting, but so lovable at the same time.
Yeah. He has a long list of films and TV roles, including Chinatown in 1974, The Gambler in 1974, The Killer Elite in 1975, Convoy in 1978.
Convoy!
Uncle Joe Shannon in 1978, which he also wrote. Once Upon a Time in America in 1984, and The Pope of Greenwich Village in 1984.
Such a good movie.
Oh, fantastic movie. He's also appeared in many television programs, including...
I'm sorry, where are we?
Next page. Down the middle there. Down the bottom middle.
The Rockford Files, Bonetta, Law & Order, Walker, Texas Ranger, All in the Family, MASH, and Miami Vice. He was great in the Rockford Files on Miami Vice, too.
Yeah.
I thought he was on Magnum, but I think I'm thinking of...
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think I'm thinking of the Rockford Files.
Yeah. He and Tony Burton are the only actors other than Stallone to actually appear in all 6 of the original Rocky movies.
Yeah.
Although Talia Shire did appear in the 6th movie, but only in archival footage, since apparently she was dead by that point.
Yeah, well, her interest in being in the series sure was.
Yeah. Burt Young is also a painter. His art has been displayed in galleries throughout the world. And he also wrote a 400-page historical novel.
Yeah, I read about all that stuff, I look right about, Byzantine history.
It's interesting. I mean, he has other interests but he plays that part so well.
He's just such he's just perfect at being a lump, a lovable loser. He's the perfect lovable loser.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And God, he was so... The thing with the robot was so weird and off-putting. Just the way I bought the fact that he slept with that robot.
Well, no.
I mean, he laid down next to it.
Maybe I fell asleep during that part. I blocked it out.
It was just she loves me. It was just the way it was like, it was creepy. It was creepy. Carl Weathers came back as Apollo Creed. Weathers is an all-around athlete involved in boxing, football, gymnastics, judo, soccer, and wrestling.
Yeah, he's cut.
Yeah, he was. He played college ball for the San Diego State University Aztecs.
Aztecs, baby.
Helped him become undefeated in his senior year. He tried to join the NFL, but was undrafted. He later signed with the Oakland Raiders, playing in only one game before being cut. He would go on to play in the Canadian Football League, and while there, he actually began working as an extra in films in the mid-'70s.
He has such a great voice. It's like his voice is so distinct and amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
So good in Predator. So good in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Love to see that he's still working and kicking
Yeah.
ass today.
He had his first significant roles in 2 blaxploitation films directed by his longtime friend Arthur Marks. It was Bucktown in 1975 and Friday Foster, also in 1975. Weathers also appeared in an early 1975 episode of the sitcom Good Times titled The Nude, portraying an angry husband who suspected his wife of cheating on him with JJ.
Dynamite!
He also guest starred in a 1975 episode of Kung Fu, and in 1976 appeared as a loan shark in an episode of the crime drama Starsky and Hutch.
The romance.
Yeah, the bromance.
Yeah. No, romance.
Sorry, romance, yeah. After Rocky, he appeared in numerous films and TV shows, including, as Jim said, Predator, Action Jackson, Happy Gilmore, Little Nicky, and Toy Story 4. Also had memorable parts in Arrested Development and The Mandalorian. I loved him in Arrested Development. He was so funny.
Yeah, he's great.
He was fantastic. He was great in The Mandalorian, too. He's a great career. I'm so happy that he's still working. This movie introduced Brigitte Nielsen as Ludmila Vobedrago. Brigitte Nielsen was actually originally from Denmark. She began her career modeling for Greg Gorman and Helmut Newton. She made her acting debut in the 1985 film Red Sonja.
Oh, yeah.
Nielsen was engaged to Stallone during the production and married shortly after the release. She also starred with Stallone in the 1986 film Cobra.
Cobra!
Which,
Cobretti.
Cobretti.
My name is Cobretti, but they call me Cobra. I wear sunglasses. I wore the same black aviator sunglasses in Cobra and Rocky 3.
He did.
Rocky 4. Hey,
Rocky
I'm punchy.
4,
I don't
yeah.
remember things. Okay?
Cobra was
Okay.
actually his version of Beverly Hills Cop, so if you
Beverly Hills Cobretti.
want to listen to our Beverly Hills Cop episode, you'll hear all about how Stallone almost was in that movie.
Yeah. I met Brigitte Nielsen.
Oh, yeah?
I was at this, I think it was like a test pilot or something that a friend was doing for this karaoke show. It was just basically like at this bar, and they realized that they just couldn't shoot the show for some reason. They were just like, screw it, we're going to open up the bar and just do karaoke.
Oh, weird.
And Brigitte Nielsen was there. She was one of the people or whatever. And I don't remember who the other people were, but they all stuck around. We just started drinking. And I was, for some reason, like on the stage, but leaning against the side of it, talking to somebody. And she was singing something and like grabbed me and pulled me toward her and was like, rap, and put the microphone in my face. And I was like,
Wow.
I was an improviser and stuff, and I usually could think pretty quickly on my feet. But all that came out was rap, ribbity, rip, rap. And,
Wow.
But then she like just made me dance with her and stuff, and it was so weird. But she was very nice, and we had some drinks and like hung out, and she hung out with our friends, and she was very funny and very charming, and it was just such a bizarre experience. Just pulled into her orbit,
Weird.
and then just like lived in that orbit for a few hours, and then just never saw her again.
Weird. Was this while they were married?
No, man, it wasn't when I was a kid. No, this was like in the 2000s. I think.
Oh, really? Wow.
This was after the whole Flava Flav thing, and because she's very cool, and it's like she's better than that, and it's just a bummer.
Totally forgot about the Flavor Flav and Brigitte Nielsen connection.
Oh, it's so weird.
I totally forgot. Well, her and Stallone got divorced in 1987. She played a villain in Beverly Hills Cop 2 in 1987 and starred as the Black Witch in the 1990s Italian film series Fantagiro.
Yeah.
She released her debut album Everybody Tells a Story in 1987 and recorded a duet with Austrian pop star Falco, Body Next to Body, written by Giorgio Moroder.
Yeah. Everybody had an album back in the
saying his
80s. Even Stallone said,
He did.
him a drinking stein.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh, God.
Rhinestone, baby.
She was pretty big in Germany and Austria. So she had a follow-up album she released in 1981 called "I'm the One, Nobody Else," which I want to believe is just her threat towards anyone.
She's just a big lady. She's like a tall drink of water, you know.
She is.
She's a statuesque beauty, you know. She's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of women back then got a really bad rap and a bad sitch, and it's like they always blame the lady when it was a breakup with some big dude.
And it was Stallone. Who the hell's not going to divorce
Yeah,
Stallone?
come on,
I'm
man.
sorry. Yeah. She built a career starring in B movies and hosting TV shows and appearing on reality shows like Where She Met Jim.
Yeah, because I'm sure her career was ruined by him after the divorce, or at least stymied. Because there's no reason why she shouldn't have gone on to do more stuff after Beverly Hills Cop 2.
He was very vocal about how much he did not like her.
I didn't like her.
Tabloids
Okay.
and stuff, yeah.
I did not like her. Okay. She always was like, "Hey, little guy. Hey, Pee-wee. Give me a Pee-wee." She put me in her purse.
I mean,
I'd have to sit in her purse as she walked around.
Purse.
It was really embarrassing.
She was like 5 or 6 inches taller than him.
She's a big girl. Big gal.
She's a big gal. She's a big gal.
Threw me around like a rag doll. It was embarrassing. I tell you, it was embarrassing.
He probably, part of him liked that.
A little bit.
They cast Dolph Lundgren as Captain Ivan Drago.
I must break you.
He was originally from Sweden. His real first name is Hans. Hans Lundgren.
He is a real impressive SOB, that guy.
He's a fascinating man. He received a degree in chemical engineering from the KTH Royal Institute of Technology in the early 1980s.
It's basically it's like a community college for Sweden. I'm just kidding.
He got a master's degree in chemical engineering from the University of Sydney in 1982.
You know what he used to say when he was like doing chemistry and he would have to like take bonds apart? He would go, "I must break you."
It's amazing how he just took to that line so well.
Oh, it was part of his whole thing.
He actually holds the rank of 4th Dan black belt in Kyokushin karate and was European champion in 1980 to 81. While in Sydney, he became a bodyguard for Jamaican singer Grace Jones and began a relationship with her.
Good Lord. I adore Grace Jones, but she is like a feral animal, man.
Yeah.
Being her bodyguard must have been a real full-time job.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
No, Grace. I must pull you back from the brink of craziness. Don't you do it.
He received a Fulbright scholarship to MIT and moved to Boston. He's a brilliant, brilliant man.
Yeah, I mean, I love these guys that have no business acting who become huge stars.
Yeah.
Even though they should be solving we probably would have had Cold Fusion by now if Dolph wouldn't have been in Rocky IV. F you. Hey, look. It's not my fault. Okay? I'm a star maker.
Grace Jones actually convinced him to leave the university and move to New York City to be with her and begin acting, where after a short stint as a model and bouncer at the Manhattan nightclub The Limelight, Lundgren got a small debut role as a KGB henchman in the James Bond film A View to a Kill.
I would have loved to be a fly on the wall from his phone call to his parents. Or actually,
Yeah.
well, it's like 80 because it's an out-of-country call.
Right.
So let's just skip ahead to...
Yeah.
Kook. Kook. That's the European.
Yeah. That came through.
Kook. Yeah? Hello, father? Dolphy. Hans. Please call me Dolph. I'm trying to get used to Dolph. Okay, Dolph. What's up, son? How is the chemical engineering going? About that. You see, I told you I was dating Grace Jones. Yes, your mother and I are still a little disappointed about that, but yes. Well, she thinks I should be an actor and, leave school and go to New York and hang out with her and, maybe be a bouncer or something. Just kind of bum around instead of, continuing my studies at MIT. What do you think? What do you think? Your father just had a heart attack and died.
It was a Fulbright scholarship. They don't just give those to anybody.
No, it's so like Grace Jones is a maniac.
Yes. She convinced
She's chaos, man.
You know she convinced him.
How many prominent scientists did we lose because of Grace Jones' crazy libido?
It's true. It's true.
She's a full-on science nut. I'm going to create a dearth of scientists. I am a science denier.
Oh, Rocky IV was actually his American film debut and his first big part.
He was so good in that, and I'll tell you why. The scene where they introduce him, you know, where he to the public, and they're all like, "He is the biggest specimen and the greatest training and the good do," and the look on his face and his eyes looking around, he's just like he has this look of an animal or of somebody who doesn't understand. You know, it's like they took him out of the laboratory, and he's like King Kong. He plays it kind of like King Kong. You know,
I would agree with that.
It captured. It's just such a more nuanced performance than Rocky, unfortunately. Hey, come on now, come on, Rocky. Seriously.
I mean, yeah.
But it's just guys like that drive me crazy. He's super handsome, and he's super smart. And he's super talented. You know, it's just good for him, man.
Yeah.
Lottery City, baby.
Oh, yeah. He won on all counts. He parlayed...
Except for Grace Jones, you know? Well, I guess...
Yeah, but she was the catalyst for him becoming who he is now.
I guess, but I don't know.
Sometimes you got to go through the crazy to get to the good.
He would have been like the most handsome scientist ever, too. He would have been like every scientist he would have been in all the scientist calendars.
Oh, yeah. It would have been 12 months. 12 months of him, just him in different poses.
Did you get the Hans calendar?
You mean the new science calendar? Yeah.
Oh, Cobalt.
So he parlayed this role into playing He-Man in the Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
The movie has a special place in my heart. It is not a good movie.
No. It's got neat. But you get to see what the action figures would look like if they were like not super awesome looking.
If they were just cheap knockoffs.
Yeah, with really weird deep eye sockets that they...
The whole premise of that movie and the big weird key that plays music and like the fact that the guy finds weird alien technology is like, this is my new instrument. I'm gonna go play it.
By the power of Grayskull, I must break you.
Obviously, since he's gone on to star in a bunch of other movies, he's done like 80 films, most notably the Expendables movies, which they have a new one coming out, which I didn't know.
Of course they do. Hey, old action heroes got to eat, Adam.
Got to do what you got to do. Did you ever hear the story about how somebody broke into Dolph Lundgren's house here in the Hollywood Hills, and when they realized it was Dolph Lundgren's house, they left?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's a black belt in super karate.
Yeah. They Tony Burton coming back is Tony Duke Evers. His trainer. He's not
Whoa.
little.
Hey, somebody's being condescending to poor Tony.
Tony's great. His boxing career, he's actually started as a boxer. It included the Flint Golden Gloves Light Heavyweight Championship in 1955 and 1957. He won the State Golden Gloves Light Heavyweight Championship in 1957. It was the state Golden Gloves Lightweight Heavyweight Championship in 1957 and lost the Chicago Tournament of Champions semifinals. He fought as a professional boxer in 1958 1959. After his brief professional boxing career, Burton served more than 3 years in a Chino, California prison for robbery.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The acting exercises he performed as part of a therapy program helped steer him into an acting career after his release. He had roles in a number of films while appearing in the Rocky franchise, including Assault on Precinct 13 in 1976, directed by John Carpenter.
Great movie.
Fantastic movie. The Shining in 1980, directed by Stanley Kubrick.
No, that was a great movie, too.
Yeah. He was Larry Durkin, the garage owner. Stir Crazy in 1980, directed by Sidney Poitier. A great movie. The Toy in 1982, starring Richard Pryor, directed by Dick Donner.
Well, he and Pryor were pals.
They were they were close. Armed and Dangerous in 1986, starring John Candy. Burton was actually a really talented chess player. Stanley Kubrick was defeated by him on the set of The Shining. Burton recalled his first day on the set.
My contract was for a week. I had 2 short scenes in the movie. I stayed for 6 weeks because Stanley and I were playing chess. Stanley was a stronger player than I, but I was strong enough to give him sufficient struggle to where he enjoyed it. I beat him in the first or second game we played, and then I didn't win any more after that. But it was always a tight struggle. That's what he loved. I guess there was no one else around that played strong.
Unfortunately, he passed in 2016 due to complications with pneumonia.
Ugh.
Yeah, but he was great. He was so great in these movies, and everything. Like, he was fantastic. He was such a good actor, and I'm glad that he was able to turn himself around, and
Hey, man, everybody's got a struggle in their life.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice that he had the success in the Rocky movies since he was a boxer, and
Being an athlete in the 50s wasn't like being an athlete in the 80s or the 90s.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of money.
No.
People just kind of used you up and threw you away, especially in pro-am boxing like this.
Yeah, and if you weren't crazy successful, you just weren't making money. You put all that time in and effort, and your body gets ruined, and then it's like, here's your $50. It's like, okay. They cast Michael Pataki as Nikolai Koloff, the agent. Pataki's film credits include Airport 77 in 1977.
Nice.
Spider-Man in 1977, the CBS television movie. You remember the Spider-Man movie? It's so awful.
He was blonde.
Yeah, it was so bad. Love at First Bite in 1979, starring George Hamilton. Raised the Titanic in 1980.
Love at First Bite was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was great.
The George Hamilton comedies are very underrated. We have to do a George
Yeah, we
Hamilton
definitely.
Zorro the Gay Blade and Love at First Bite.
Yeah, it was great.
He had a nice little run.
He did. Raised the Titanic in 1980, based on the Clive Cussler novel.
Nope.
Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins in 1985, starring Fred Ward. Yeah, such a great movie. He also starred a number of B movies, including Dracula's Dog in 1977. He played opposite Reggie Nalder in Jose Ferrer as a descendant of Dracula who was being stalked by a vampiric Doberman Pinscher, which just made me want to see the movie.
Yeah.
Pataki was also an accomplished voiceover artist, playing the part of the Sewer King in the episode of Batman, the animated series.
What a great show.
He was also the voice of George Liquor in the Ren and Stimpy show.
Oh, yeah. George
Which I didn't
Liquor.
realize that was him. So,
Hey, guys.
he actually, right before they did the last Ren and Stimpy stuff in, 2006, he actually passed. It was the last thing that he did.
Bummer. Well, good for...
George
it was
Liquor.
a good swan song.
He was like 90 or something when he passed. It was crazy.
Good run.
So the filming, they had doubled Wyoming for the frozen expanse of the Soviet Union. The small farm where Rocky lived and trained was in Jackson Hole, and Grand Teton National Park was used for filming many of the outdoor sequences in the Soviet Union, like where he gets chased by the KGB. Around. One of the 18 montages that happen. The PNE Agrodome at Hastings Park in Vancouver, British Columbia, served as the location of Rocky's Soviet bout. Sylvester Stallone actually stated that the original punching scenes filmed between him and Dolph Lundgren in the first portion of the fight are completely authentic.
Completely authentic. Completely authentic.
Stallone wanted to capture a realistic scene, and Lundgren agreed that they would engage in legitimate sparring.
I agree to break you.
One particular forceful Lundgren punch to Stallone's chest slammed his heart against his breastbone, causing his heart to swell.
Yeesh.
Stallone, suffering from labored breathing and a blood pressure over 200, was flown from the set in Canada to St. John's Regional Medical Center in Santa Monica, forced into intensive care for 8 days.
I feel weird, guys. Maybe we should take a break.
Stallone said,
"Punch me as hard as you can in the chest. Next thing I know, I was in intensive care unit in St. John's Hospital for 4 days. It's stupid."
Yeah,
it is stupid, pal.
He was a championship martial artist.
Punch me. Are you sure? I'm 3 times your size, and I'm an actual real fighter. Punch me. Come on, P-word. Come on, wimp.
So stupid.
Come on, punch me, little girl.
Stallone later commented that he believed Lundgren had the athletic ability and talent to fight in the professional heavyweight division of boxing.
And he visited him in the hospital, and he was like, "I'm sorry I broke you."
Additionally, Stallone has stated that Lundgren nearly forced Carl Weathers to quit during the filming of the Apollo vs. Drago exhibition fight.
Yeah.
At one point in the filming of the scene, Lundgren tossed Weathers into the corner of the boxing ring. Weathers shouted profanities at Lundgren while leaving the ring and announcing that he was calling his agent and quitting the movie.
Yeah, I'm not a boxer. I'm an actor, you
monster.
You're
supposed to be acting, yes.
This is what happens when you don't train.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Stallone. Look, he's going to be really realistic.
Yeah, you got to make it real.
You know, he would do stuff like, all right, we're going to punch each other on the count of 3. 1, 2, punch. You know, it was like he was a kind of a dick when it came to filming these fight scenes. And look, he took the brunt of the punishment.
He did, but still.
But still, it's like, come on, man, it's a movie.
Yeah.
Carl Weathers is a pretty man. You can't damage that pretty face.
Only after Stallone forced the two actors to reconcile did filming continue. The event caused a 4-day work stoppage while Weathers was talked back into the part, and Lundgren agreed to tone down his aggressiveness.
Okay, I'll tone it down.
Yeah. Rocky IV is one of the few sports movies that applies genuine sound effects from actual punches, bona fide training methods created by boxing consultants, and a bevy of other new special effects.
Yeah, he really wanted it to be as real as possible.
He was trying to make it authentic, yeah. The film was actually recognized as being ahead of its time in its demonstration of groundbreaking high-tech sporting equipment, some of which was experimental, and 20 years from public use.
Well, yeah, the whole training stuff with Drago was so state of the art, and ahead of its time back then. You look at it now; it doesn't hold up, but it looks okay.
Yeah, and a lot of that was just towards sports medicine and treating injuries and stuff.
And like monitors that did weird stuff.
It was crazy technology. It was super amazing. Speaking of technology, Polly's Robot, a character that through the years has enjoyed a cult following of its own, was created by International Robotics, Inc. in New York City.
Hey, look, Polly, happy birthday, man. Look what I got you. It's a robot. You're going to love it, right? You're going to love it. I wanted a sports car. Well, you got a robot.
I forgot how big the robot was. For some reason, I remember it being smaller than that.
No, it's got a giant head.
It's huge. The robot's initial voice was that of the company's CEO, Robert Dornick.
I am Robert Dornick.
They didn't do any modulation to his voice at all. It's just how he sounds.
That's why I make robots. I want friends who sound like me.
The robot is identified by its engineers as Seiko and was a member of the Screen Actors Guild.
I haven't paid my dues. It's several years. I've been over years.
Well, I don't think he's been acting at all.
I've been doing a lot of low-budget independent cinema.
It actually toured with James Brown in the 1980s. The robot was written in the movie after it had been used to help treat Stallone's autistic son, Sergio.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah. The musical score for Rocky IV was composed by Vince DiCola. Who would later compose the music for the Transformers the movie. Rocky IV is the only film in the series not to feature original music by Bill Conti, who was replaced by DiCola.
Yeah, because it's a lot cheaper to use one synthesizer than an entire orchestra.
Yeah. However, it does feature arrangements of themes composed by Conti from previous films in the series, such as The Final Bell. Conti, who was too busy with the first 2 Karate Kid films at the time, would return for Rocky V and Rocky Balboa. Conti's famous piece of music from the Rocky series, Gonna Fly Now, does not appear at all in Rocky IV, the first time in the series this happened. Though though a few bars of it are incorporated into DiCola's training montage instrumental, one of the 5. Yes, pretty much. Songs from the movie include Living in America by James Brown.
Living in America.
And songs by John Cafferty, Survivor, Kenny Loggins, and Robert Tepper.
Oh, good soundtrack for running.
It's a great soundtrack. 4 of these songs became U.S. chart hits, 2 of which reached the top 5. Go West wrote One Way Street for the movie by request of Sylvester Stallone.
Hey, you guys, can you ready to write a song for me? For the movie?
Oh my god, it goes on for 8 minutes.
Yeah. Could you make it really long?
It goes on for so long.
I don't have a lot of a script, so I need to make some montages.
Europe's hit The Final Countdown, written earlier in the decade by lead singer Joey Tempest, is often incorrectly stated as being featured in the film due to its similarity to DiCola's training montage. However, Europe's track was not released as a single until late 1986 after Rocky IV's release.
Yeah, it's got that.
Yeah, it's just essentially the same, yeah. According to Peter Cetera, he originally wrote his best-selling solo single "Glory of Love" as the end title for this film, but was passed over by United Artists and instead used the theme for The Karate Kid Part 2.
What is the last song? I was singing it last night.
I don't remember. It's not memorable at all.
Oh, so good, though.
No, is it?
I think it is. I think so.
Over the 5-day Thanksgiving weekend, it was released and it grossed a non-summer record of $31.7 million.
Got my money.
In its fourth week of release, it expanded to a then record 2,232 screens.
Yeah, this was the explosion of the multiplexes
Yeah.
we spoke of before.
Yeah. It spent a total of 6 weeks as the number one film in the U.S. box office, staying on top through the Christmas and New Year's period.
Yeah, people liked it. You know, they wanted to see me beat up a guy from Russia.
It grossed a total of $127.8 million in the United States and Canada and $300 million worldwide, the most of any Rocky film.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
It was the third highest grossing film of 1985, behind Rambo First Blood Part 2 at number 2.
Yeah, I beat myself.
And Back to the Future at number 1.
Yeah, they're really stupid. There's no boxing, and they didn't shoot anybody from Vietnam.
That's true. It does not include either of those things.
What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again.
It was the highest grossing sports film of all time until The Blind Side in 2009, which grossed $309 million without accounting for inflation.
Yeah, they cheated. It's cheats.
They cheated, yes.
Yeah.
It was also the highest grossing fourth installment of a film in the United States and Canada, surpassing the record of Sudden Impact from 1983, the Dirty Harry film.
Yeah, I was really mad about that.
I
That didn't make my day.
I love franchises that don't do the numbers,
Yeah.
like the ones that are like, yeah, this is just another movie. It's the same guy, but it's another movie. And the Dirty Harry series is so great that way.
Yeah. Sudden Impact wasn't the strongest
No, it was not great.
of the series, but still, I love those movies.
It's a Dirty Harry
so
movie.
much.
It's still fun to watch.
It's just him. Swell. That's my favorite. Swell.
The success of Rocky IV led to other studios opening major films over the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah, we set a standard, a precedent.
I'm sorry, you said a what?
A president.
A president?
Yeah, you said a president.
Yeah.
I collect art.
Unprecedented? Yeah.
Yeah, there's no presidents.
Yeah. Stallone has said that the enormous financial success and fan following of Rocky IV once had him envisioning another Rocky movie devoted to Drago in his post-boxing life, with Balboa's storyline running parallel to Drago's. However, he noted the damage both boxers sustained in the fight made both of them
Incapable of reason.
and thus instead planned Rocky V as a showcase of the dangers of boxing.
Yeah, I was dumb. Punchy by then, the one with I was going to make with Drago. We were going to be buddies.
You were going to be friends.
Yeah.
Enemies becoming friends?
Yeah, because, we were a little punchy, because we beat each other into brain damage.
Beat each other's into brain damage.
So we were
yeah.
buddies in this, it was like a hospital, for people with bad brains. And so, we get out of there, and we escape, and then we get on a boat, and we go to a volcano, and then, we were going to put a virgin in the volcano, but we couldn't find one.
You're going to put a mansion in the
A
volcano?
virgin,
A
a
virgin.
person who doesn't have relations of the sexual kind.
Yeah.
People who haven't done it.
You couldn't find a virgin.
Yeah, well, the script was meandering. That's what the guy. That's what Dolph said. He says meandering.
Did you take his word for it? I mean, he does have like a master's degree in chemical engineering.
He's always throwing that in my face.
I mean, he won a Fulbright
You
scholarship.
never even finished high school, porno guy. That's what he used to call me, porno guy.
Porno guy.
Yeah. You're a little porno guy. You're a little teeny porno guy.
Little teeny porno guy.
Sometimes you call me butt plug.
Oh, okay.
So little.
All right.
Use your imagination.
So Rocky V was released in 1990, featuring the dangers of boxing, which is
So bad.
personally my least favorite Rocky movie.
Man, and Tommy Morrison was the boxer.
Tommy Gunn.
And he was the grandson of John Wayne
Oh, yeah.
Morrison.
Yeah, he died from HIV complications.
He did. He did. No, he did. He had a really bad drug addiction after.
Yeah.
I mean, he hit hard times.
Yeah,
It's a really sad story about Tommy.
It is. So Rocky IV received mixed to negative reviews, with criticism for its predictable screenplay and Cold War themes, which some critics deemed as propaganda and facilitating negative portrayals of Russians.
What?
However, there was some praise for Drago's credibility as a villain.
It was very credible.
It's
because he was big and blonde.
You make them look bad, but you do it so well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was just his wife, the way they would cut to Brigitte, and she'd be like smiling when the guy dies and stuff. It was just kind of like, what happens happens.
It's a propaganda movie.
And the guy that was the PR Russian guy was just always so many. He's so mad all the time.
Yeah. Well, so a novelization was published by Ballantine Books in 1985.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone was actually credited as the author.
Yeah, I wrote a book. I wrote several books. I'm an author.
You're an otter?
Yeah, I'm an otter.
You're an otter. Do you like to swim?
I do. When I'm writing my books in the bathtub.
Doesn't that make the pages wet?
Yes. It takes a long time.
Takes a long time. Got to rewrite. Yeah.
All writing is rewriting,
Oh, okay. That's true. Wow.
It is. Sid Fields, baby.
The novel included some backstory for Drago and his wife. Drago was a former coal miner who had come to the government's attention after being featured in a party promotional film about mining. Ludmila, his wife, was born in Kiev to a party official, had begun training to become a swimming Olympic champion when she was 9.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Backstory for those characters. In 1987, Rocky was released, the video game based on the first 4 Rocky films. 2002 saw the release of Rocky, the video game based on the first 5 Rocky films.
Damn.
And then 2 years later, the release of Rocky Legends, the video game based on the first 5 Rocky films. Why they had so many come out so often just blows my mind. I don't really understand.
Well, the whole plot of one of the movies was about a video game.
Well, that was...
Was that Creed?
No.
Was it the last Rocky?
No,
where it was
you're thinking of the no.
No, because
was that Rocky Balboa?
Yeah, because there was a video game matchup between like the champ and Rocky, the video game, and it's like, oh, I'd love to see that.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was it. Because there was also that one boxing movie that I think De Niro was in that was about the older guys boxing. I always think that has the plot about the video game.
No,
but it was Rocky Balboa, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they did the simulation at the beginning, and it was like, oh, he might be able to beat him. Yeah. Well, that's what led to 2006 and Stallone writing and directing Rocky 6, released as Rocky Balboa, which included the video game simulation. Sylvester Stallone, Dolph Lundgren, and Brigitte Nielsen reprised their roles from Rocky IV and Creed II, the sequel to the 2015 film Creed.
I don't know if I saw that one. I liked Creed. I saw Creed.
I don't think I saw Creed 2. The plot involves Drago's son Victor fighting Adonis Creed, Michael B. Jordan, for his title as a way of his father Ivan regaining some of the prestige he lost after his defeat in Rocky IV.
You must break him for my reputation.
Reputation, yeah. In August 2020, Stallone actually announced that a director's cut edition of the film would be released to commemorate the film's 35th anniversary, called Rocky IV, Rocky vs. Drago, the Ultimate Director's Cut.
Yeah. So it's basically another 10 minutes at the end of the movie of me being like, if these guys could be friends, and you guys could be friends, then maybe... then the countries could be friends. And then America and Russia could be friends again.
The irony is that the movie is actually only 2 minutes longer than the original cut, although they did add 38 minutes of previously unreleased footage consisting of both new scenes and alternate takes that were added to the film, including significant extensions of both fight scenes and the Apollo Creed funeral scene, in addition to a lengthier recap of Rocky III at the beginning of the film. Conversely, a significant amount of original footage was removed or replaced.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if they were going to have 31 and it's only 2 minutes later, they
yeah.
took out a half an hour's worth of stuff.
One major cut was the scenes featuring Paulie's robot. Stallone commented,
The robot is going to be the robot is going to the junkyard forever. No more robot.
scenes with Brigitte Nielsen. I know they totally. That's what I don't understand is they cut the robot out. I think the main reason was that what I had read was that to use the voice they would had to have paid Robert Dornick, the voice of the robot, a lot of money.
Couldn't they just replace it?
I don't know. I don't know if that was maybe part of the contract.
It's so of the time.
I mean,
it's like
it makes sense.
I get it. I'm sure the cut is better without the goofy, giant-headed robot.
Paulie being in love with it, like it's super weird.
Yeah, you know, it's just couldn't afford the robot. Got a big head. Got a real big head.
Also, unsurprisingly, most of the scenes with Brigitte Nielsen were cut and substantially diminished.
Are you sure you want to cut?
Look, it's not what you think. Okay, it's not for artistic reasons.
But
it's not because I'm bitter.
These scenes are really good. They help flow the movie.
Yeah, they gotta go. They have to go.
They literally explain where Ivan Drago comes from.
No, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. It's just not. She's gotta go. But it's not because I'm bitter. Just because it's what's right for the movies. It's what's right for the movies.
So there's a bunch of new.
Can you cut her out of Cobra?
Could cut her out of Beverly Hills Cop 2. I was watching it last night.
Yeah, it really upset me.
Can you cut her out of Red Sonja? I can't watch it with that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, whatever.
Hey, look,
he
man,
seems
there's
like
some
that kind of
X's that I
guy.
wouldn't mind cutting out of some movies I would.
True.
Then, you know,
That's,
what are you going to do?
I'm right there with you. There are a bunch of new Rocky type stuff coming out. There's a Creed 3 coming out.
Don't never, ever accuse Sylvester Stallone of refusing to beat a dead horse to death again.
Yeah. I don't know if he's going to be in Creed 3.
No.
He might not be.
I'm not in
But it is going to feature Deontay Wilder. I don't know if he's a boxing guy now, big dude, and he's going to be the son of Clubber Lang, and bring him back for Creed 3.
And then the grandson of Paulie comes and makes sandwiches for all of them. And then, you know, and then the great grandson of Piccadilly Joe comes out and, he starts playing the guitar. And then everybody's dancing.
After they get Clubber Lang's son back, they just got to bring back somebody for Hulk Hogan, and they've literally mined everybody.
That's a good one. Well, let me write that down. Let's see. Hulk Hogan. His name's going to be Bulk.
Bulk Hogan?
Bulk Hogan, yeah. That's good. Thanks, Adam. We're going to give you producer credit. You go associate producer credit.
Yay. He's actually also talking about doing a Rocky series, and this has been buoyed by the fact that Amazon just bought MGM. And one of the main things that the CEO talked about was the Rocky franchise. And so there's a possibility he's going to do a TV show where he goes down to Mexico and finds a Mexican fighter. And then they have to make their way back up to America or something.
Yeah, sneak over the border.
Yeah. Or, well, something like that. I think he was...
The only way.
Yeah, but anyway.
I'm going to have to put 16 pounds of fentanyl in my butt. In my butts.
But at the end of the day, it's very possible. Here's the thing. I watched Creed, and I seriously thought that Rocky died in that movie.
No,
I thought
his career did. No, it was just
He was like a big dumb dopey guy.
But wasn't he was really sick or something, right?
No, he was just punchy. His brain wasn't.
I thought there was something with cancer or something with him in that movie.
That was his wife.
Or maybe that was in Rocky Balboa. I don't know. No, his wife was dead by that point. I mean,
yeah, but I think she died of. But
there was something to do with him. Oh no, it was something having to do with like Hodgkin's disease.
It was like a neurological.
Because
I think it was Hodgkin's.
I'm
pretty sure it was some kind of cancer.
Parkinson's or something.
No, I think maybe. I don't think so though. I thought it was some kind of cancer.
Yeah,
anyway, you can tell we really paid attention to Creed when we saw it.
Well, look, Creed was interesting because it was a different movie.
Yeah.
You know, and finally he was like, I'm 110 years old. I can't be the
Yeah.
boxer.
Yeah,
And Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
He was awesome. I mean, that kid is a powerhouse actor to begin with. So
Yeah, yeah.
he was really good. Tessa Thompson was great.
Yeah.
The second movie didn't give her a lot to do. It's just like it.
Yeah.
Like anything, diminishing returns, right? So it's like by the time we get to the third one,
Yeah.
Clubber Lang's son, you know.
Michael B. Jordan's actually directing the third movie.
Yeah, well, that's probably the only reason why he would do it. And good for
yeah.
him because
Yeah.
it'll set him on to, you know, opening up his career to new things. And
Yeah, yeah.
Good for him. And hopefully it'll be a good movie. I mean, it's nice that Stallone is kind of passing the torch
Yeah.
to Michael B. Jordan and letting him be the director and star. You know, it's like
Yeah, yeah.
he's maybe being in control of his franchise, which is great.
Yeah,
And that's great
yeah.
as Stallone. And Stallone is doing some series on, I think, Paramount Plus that's
Oh, yeah?
coming out later this year. I think September maybe, where he plays like a mob boss.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think they take me to the Midwest, you know, and like
Oh.
home or something. I don't know what to do there. I'm a mob boss, you know. It's like, where am I going to get cannolis? And, you know, am I going to get good sauce and gravy? When are going to get the gravy?
But that's, yeah. So he's working.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's not. I'm assuming he's going to be in the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
I hope so. Look,
You know, he's got the new Expendables movies coming out, I think, next year.
he is a super interesting dude.
Yeah.
Like that
yeah.
guy has had an incredible life, an incredible career, incredible success, incredible failure,
Yeah,
you know, and a
yeah.
bunch of stuff in between. And, you know, say what you will, that guy has lasted for 50 years
Yeah,
almost,
yeah.
you know, in this business. And that is not an easy thing to do. And he's an icon.
No,
I
and
hate
he-
that word, and everybody uses it way,
Yeah,
way too much.
yeah.
But come on, the guy is a 100% 80s icon.
Yeah.
He was the face of the rah-rah Reagan anti-communist, anti-Russia movement. You know,
Yeah.
that guy.
He knew how to take the feelings of the moment and capitalize on it and make money off of it.
He
And-
knew exactly who he was. He knows exactly who he is. He may not like it. He may fight against it a little bit more than Arnold did.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like he comes across as a dummy, you know?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like nobody wants to be thought of as a dummy, especially if you're not a dummy.
Right.
So I get it, you know?
I'm not a dummy, you know. That's why they take over cash. So I can, you know, talk really fast to be, you know, a broker. Yeah.
But I get it, you know? But say what you will about the guy, he is an American success story and
Yeah.
and an absolute Hollywood legend.
From the very beginning of Rocky, with him demanding that he star in it, to whatever he's doing now, the man knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He works the business really well, and
Even like his
And it's great.
entrepreneur, you know, when he did Planet Hollywood with Bruce
Yeah.
Willis and
Yeah.
Arnold, right?
yeah.
That was a brilliant move.
yeah, it was huge,
it's-
huge.
Those guys, it's just those guys owned Hollywood for like
Yeah.
2 decades.
They were good businessmen at the end of the day. I mean, that was the thing. They understood how the business worked.
And how the business of movies and of
Yeah.
making movies was.
Well, that's all I got. So, you have any last thoughts, comments? We didn't really talk about it being. I mean, it's obviously very anti-Russian, but it's.
Well,
but at the
yeah.
end, it's about friends coming together.
Hey, look, you know, at the end, you know, we were punching the crap out of each other. I mean, like, you know, look at our faces. It's just bloody pulse.
Yeah.
You know, at a certain point, the Russians, the Ruskies are like, Rocky Balboa. You know, you look at Khrushchev, no, whatever that guy, the stain on his face,
Gorbachev.
Gorby. You know, he's like, oh, I don't like this. Why are you talking about him and not Drago? And then the other guy, you know, probably went to Siberia. You know, that's in the novel about, you know, the propaganda, the PR guy goes to Siberia. There's a whole
Right.
chapter about how he begins to eat this soup, and he's allergic to the soup. But they're like, you gotta eat it, because you did that thing.
What are you talking about?
Worried!
Wow. All right.
That,
right.
yeah. Well, thanks for
That's,
joining us.
I'm glad that Sly stopped by.
Yeah, it's always good to
uh,
have him.
His
Yeah,
garbled memories of his own movies.
he's awesome. And also Dolph, we had him.
Yeah. We'll be back next week with a new month, some new fun movies.
Yeah.
I'm excited. What are we calling this month? I don't even know.
It's Weirdo Genre Flicks.
Oh, weirdo genre flicks.
Yeah, we got some really great surprises. Probably stuff that you've never heard of. And if you have heard of them, you're going to be so excited we're doing the shows. So tune in next time to see what we're doing. Welcome to the show.
Sorry. Okay, sorry.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Jabberjaw, already in progress.